Okay, if everyone could please stand, and Mr. Jarrett, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, this is the Planning and Zoning Board / Local Planning Agency. It's an advisory board which makes recommendations to the county commissioners who will make the final decision on all these items. Items on today's agenda will be heard by the County Commission on March 13th, 2025 at 5 p.m. When a motion ends in any kind of a split vote, a roll call vote may be taken to ensure accuracy. As a reminder, each member who makes a motion or a second needs to turn their microphone on so that your voice is on the record. Speakers for public comment on agenda items will be given 3 minutes. At this time, if any board member has had any ex parte communication regarding any application, please disclose so now. All right, I need a motion for the approval of the P&Z minutes from January 13th, 2025.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion by Logan, a second by Debbie. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously. And I noticed we have some new members on the board. Melissa, I know you've been here a few meetings, but if the new people, if you would, just state your name and so everyone kind of knows who you are. Ruth, we can start with you. Yes, ma'am.
Ruth Amato.
All right. Thank you for coming.
Melissa Jackson.
All right.
Thank you.
Jared Atkins.
And we're pretty good down here. Well, thank you all for joining the team, and here we go. Miss Tina.
Miss Trina.
Trina.
Mr. Chair, item H1 and H2 I'm going to read into the record together. However, they will need a separate recommendation. Cameron and Courtney Parker request a small-scale comprehensive plan amendment 24S.18 to change the future land use designation from Res 1 to 2.5 acres to Res 1 per 2.5 acres to Res 1. Application 24SS00018, located in District 1. Item H2, Cameron and Courtney Parker request a change of zoning classification from GU to RR1 under application 24Z00068, also located in District 1.
Is the applicant here? Okay, sir, if you could come up to the podium here and state your name and address for the record.
Like my address that I'm trying to change?
No, where you reside now.
No, Cameron Parker in 1945 Tranquility Lane, Titusville, Florida.
And a little bit about what you're wanting to do.
So we just want to change it. Right now it's general use zoning, along with all the lots that are surrounded by me. Those ones already have houses built on them. I don't know if a rule changed or something, but the minimum of 5 acres, and it's only an acre lot. So we just want to build our house on it. Yeah.
All right, while you're right there, is there anyone in the audience want to speak for or against this item? All right, seeing that, I bring it back to the board. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Mr. John.
Yes, I have a question for staff. As the gentleman just said, there's a lot of these properties that are still in the GU and are non-conforming, and they have houses on them. Can we administrate them and have them all changed at one stroke, and then we don't have to do one-offs every time?
To have them administratively done, you'd have to have the county commission tell us to do that.
Okay, so can we make a recommendation here on the board to do that?
I guess you could. One of the problems is with these properties was that they were done in a survey book. And whenever they put the zoning on it, They put GU zoning. The survey book in 1960, the lots weren't divided into 150-foot wide lots. They're divided into 140-foot wide lots, so they don't meet the GU zoning whenever the survey book was done. So that's the reason he's here today, is because it doesn't
No, I
meet
understand
the
that.
GU
I
zoning.
know I do, and I'm just concerned that all the neighbors have their homes on the same size lots. And they're still in GU also, so they're non-conforming. And if they want to come for a building permit to do anything, then they're going to be stopped, and they're going to have to do a zoning change like he's doing.
Yes, or get a variance to the lot size.
You understand the issue here?
I understand where you're coming from.
So most of these properties here are already developed with homes on them, and so the vacant lots are the ones that we're concerned about providing consistency, because those are the ones that haven't had a residence established on them yet. So if that is your recommendation, we can take that to the board and see what they would like to do. But for today, we just need to focus on the recommendation for
I
the small
understand that.
scale and the rezoning. But we can take your recommendation forward to the board.
Yeah, I think it would save a lot of time and money if we were to do them all at once.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
if it's been brought to our attention that we have a big bunch of non-conforming lots, it's something that we should deal with before we waste more of our time and more of our,
A lot of
citizens'
these
time.
lots are non-conforming, but then ones like this, it's inadequate to the size whenever it was subdivided. So it's not, this lot is not non-conforming.
Say that again, please?
This lot is inadequate in size. It's not non-conforming. It does not meet the
You mean
code
because
to
of
be
the GU
non-conforming.
designation?
So
But
that's
all
the
the
reason
others-
he's here today. He's trying to get it to be able to build a house on it.
I understand that, but his neighbors, the Cruz, the Canos, the Dion's, the Mulligans, the Pompure, and the Rileys, they all have their houses, they're all in GU. They're in the same situation that he is, but nobody made any changes.
No, I don't think that it was caught at the time whenever these houses were built.
Okay.
I built a house across the street from my lot. My friend helped frame it for Lifestyle Homes in 2019. So I know it's a fairly newer house.
Did you change the zoning then?
No, it's not me. It's still general use zoning.
No,
and
that was approved with a mistake.
Excuse me?
It was approved with a mistake.
Approved with a
An error.
mistake. Oh, okay. All right.
I have a
Well-
question.
Go ahead.
Because of the wetlands on the property, Natural Resources mentions that like one home per 5 acres. How do you bypass that?
I have to get it mitigated. I know that, where the house sits.
And how does adding fill to where the house is going to sit directly impact the neighbors?
So at the time of when they submit for a building permit, a wetland delineation will be required at that time. But we do have Darcy here from Natural Resources, and she can speak more about that.
Hi, yes. So at the time of permitting, they'll need to come in with a current wetlands delineation. And then at that point, if the lot is less than 5 acres, and it was established after 1988, then it would be allowed only 1.8% of the property area in impacts. However, if it's more than 5 acres, or the lot has been legally established in that configuration since 1988, then they can build a house, access, and septic. They can mitigate the wetlands, meaning they can minimizing impacts. They could impact the wetland and then get mitigation, and they would do that through the state.
Okay.
So they do proceed at their own risk without an environmental report ahead of time.
Okay.
Darcy, on your maps here, it doesn't show that they're in wetlands.
Oh, thank you. So it looks like on here that they do have, they're just north of wetlands. Let me look at their
Yeah, they're
soils.
across Erie Road, Erie Street.
And, and they also they do have hydric soils on the property, so that's an indicator they may have wetlands. So that's why we would require the delineation. So what we do is a desktop analysis. We look at aerials and soils maps, wetland maps, that kind of thing. And if we see something that might indicate that there's wetlands, then at some point, they're going to have to provide us with that environmental report to identify and quantify what's actually there.
Which I've done. I have done that.
Your mic.
You know, problem I got, we're going to make a decision for other people's lots throughout that entire subdivision, and they may come here and want to kill us because we've modified that's not what they want to do. I'm not sure we need to get involved in other people's desire to do whatever they're going to do. They know it's GU, let them make the decision when they feel like it.
Well, to get back on track, we need to focus on just,
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
hold on one second, John. Item H1, correct?
Yes.
We got to vote there, then go back to H2. Okay, we got a motion on item H1 by John, a second by Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item H1 passed unanimously. Now we
Did y'all
gotta-
ask for public comment, if anybody?
Yes, I did.
Okay, thank you.
Now moving to item H2.
I'll make a motion on H2 to approve.
Second.
Who seconded? Logan? Okay, I have a motion on item H2 by John, a second by Logan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, sir. Ms. Trina.
Mr. Chair, item H3, Robert and Michelle Mathis, represented by Thomas Brandon, request a change in zoning classification from EU and AU to all EU under application 24Z00067, located in District 2.
Okay, is the applicant here? Sir, if you could come down and get as close as you can to that microphone and state your name and address for the record.
Thomas Brandon, 4326 Davidia Drive, Melbourne, Florida, 32934.
And a little bit about what you're wanting to do, Mr. Brandon.
So these are clients of mine, and they currently have a house that's on Rockledge Drive. I think it's about 0.9 acres, but apparently the zoning is split on this site. It's partly EU and part AU, and we've been told through permitting and zoning that we cannot continue to go forward with zoning or with permitting until we've consolidated the zoning to all EU. So that's what they're looking to do. They're looking to do a large addition to the home on the property.
All right, while you're there, Mr. Brandon, does anybody in the audience want to speak for or against this item? All right, seeing that, I bring it back to the board. Does the board have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I do. How far is that from, see, it goes across Barnes and then becomes Coquina?
It is, it's actually is right behind the old
Harvey's Grove?
Harvey's Groves, yeah, it's right there
I'll help
on the
you.
river. Yeah.
Is that how large is that parcel then?
I believe the whole thing is about 0.9, I believe. It's just under an acre.
Do we have any other questions for the applicant? I need a motion.
I make a motion we approve.
We got a motion by Henry on item H3, a second by John. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously. Item H4, please.
Item H4, Invest Bright LLC, represented by Mr. Jimenez requests a change in zoning classification from RU-1-7 to RU-1-11 under application 24Z00061, located in District 5.
Okay, is the applicant here? Sir, if you could come up and state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Paulo Jimenez, and my address is 4457 Bycliffe Road, West Palm Beach, Florida, 33406.
And a little bit about what you're wanting to do there, Mr. Jimenez.
Would like to do a single-family home, and I would like to, I split it already, the property, and I submitted all my paperwork, and I have approval of the septic and everything, but when that go to the zoning, they send me a letter. I had to do a rezoning for that property.
Okay. All right, while you're there, sir, does anyone in the audience want to speak for or against this item? All right, seeing that, I bring it back to the board. Do we have any questions for the applicant? Mr. John?
Why are they making you change the zoning on this?
Yeah, because right now it's not conforming. And when I buy the property, they told me I can split it and do the property. But when I submit everything, I get from the zoning, I get the letters, so I had to do the rezoning to do the single family home.
But you're going to do it on that whole lot, right?
No, I'm gonna split it.
You want to split that lot?
Yeah, that lot is already split in 2 parcels. It's a half acre.
Is it? Hang on a sec. It says it's a 1/4 acre here on the appraisal district.
Yeah, because it's already split.
It's already been split?
Yeah.
Ah, so you can put 2 houses on there, is what you're saying?
No, just one property.
Just
I
one.
already have one property, and I split it to building next door a new single family home.
Looks like it's this lot just to the south.
No, it's the other one.
Right, but this one he owns as well.
No, I know that.
That's
Yeah,
what they
I'm
split.
buy the whole property.
Yeah, you have the
and
whole, you have
split it.
both of them. No, I see that. That's why I couldn't understand why you wanted to do that.
No, because they asking.
They asked you to do it.
Yeah,
Because they told them to.
I had to change from RU/17 to RU-113.
Hang on a sec here. 7, 9, 30. $10,000 square feet.
Any other questions for the applicant?
I'll ask staff. This is a 1/4 acre lot, right? It's 10,500 square feet. And it's zoned as RU-17, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and for an RU-17, can't he build just on that without changing it?
So it's not consistent with the future land use currently. One of the lots is already developed with a single family, the other one is vacant.
Right. So he wants to build on the vacant lot,
Correct.
okay? But the vacant lot standing on its own is still a 1/4 acre,
Correct.
okay? So why can't he build a house on that 1/4 acre?
Because currently it's not consistent, and so that's why he's doing the rezoning to make the property consistent with the zoning. With the future land use, excuse me.
The future land use. So there's a future land use change, not a zoning change?
No, this is a rezoning.
Just a rezoning to suit the future land use?
Correct.
Okay. And the lot to the south that he also owns, was that changed before?
That
To-
one's included in this request.
Now I'm confused. Could you explain a little more then, please?
So there's two tax count numbers, 20280036 and 3033552. One is the property to the north and the other one's to the south. So both of those lots are included in this request.
Right.
Each of them are a quarter-acre lot,
Okay, and they're both Res 4, right?
and they're both Res 4.
Okay, and that's the land use.
That is the land use,
Okay,
yes.
and you can build a house on that, right, on a Res 4?
Can you rephrase your question?
Let me try and
Yeah.
ask the question differently. So,
Okay.
Trina, the future land use is the same and consistent. Currently, it's RU17. Everything around it is RU17. Why are we being asked to consider, why is he being asked to rezone the property to RU113?
Because RU17 and Res 4 are not consistent with each other. RU113, which I said RU111, but excuse me.
Sure.
RU113 is consistent with Res 4. And so that's why we're having him, that's why
Okay,
the
so because-
request is.
So the current zoning is not consistent with the underlying land use.
Correct.
In order for him to build a home, he's got to have a zoning category that is consistent with the Res 4 land use, which is RU113.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, now I know the reason, but, okay, all right.
I need a motion.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, I'm sorry, back there in the back. Mr. Robert, a second by Logan on item H4. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item H5.
Item H5, Lisa and Christopher Manion request a change in zoning classification from GU to AU under application 24Z00053, located in District 1.
Is the applicant here? Ma'am, if you could come up and state your name and address for the record.
Lisa Manion, 5133 Coffee Cup Lane, Mims, Florida, 32754.
And a little bit about what you're wanting to do.
Just for consistency of zoning, it's currently GU. So when we look at the dimensions and the lot size, we're looking to change to AU.
All right, while you're there, ma'am, is there anyone in the audience want to speak for or against this item? Okay, seeing that, I bring it back to the board. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
Silly question. You have a road going through the middle of your site. Is that a documented road? Is it, does it have an easement? Is it registered, or is it just a path that you need to get to the house?
When I purchased the home, it was there already. I believe when I put it in my GPS, it shows up. I don't know if that means it's documented or not, but there is it's not paved. It's like gravel,
road.
maybe gravel. It's like gravel, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
When you bought the property, did you get a survey?
Yes, sir.
Did it show up on the survey as an easement?
It showed up on the survey, but I don't believe as an easement, I don't think.
That would, if it was an easement, it would have been on the survey as an easement.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure.
Katrina, is that a real road?
It's not a county-maintained road.
Okay. So it's just your driveway then, really? But it's
Basically.
named.
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. I was just curious about that.
No one forgets Coffee Cup Lane. No one remembers me, but when I say, oh, Coffee Cup Lane, everybody remembers.
It's cute.
I would like to move for approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, item H5, a motion by Deb, a second by Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
a beautiful new fence on that property, too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
On your highway.
Okay, Ms. Trina, item H6.
Frank Mastroianni, represented by Jason Searl, Requested change in zoning classification from BU1 and RU-2-10 with a cap of 6 to RA-2-6 under application 24Z00069 located in District 2.
Okay, is the applicant here? And sir, you know the drill by now. If you could state your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Good to be with you and the board this afternoon. Jason Searl, Gray Robinson, 1795 West NASA Boulevard in Melbourne, here this afternoon on behalf of the contract purchaser of the property, who is the applicant. For the reasons that you've heard in some of the other items, we are here to, on a consistency of zoning effort, to unify the zoning currently split between BU1 and R210, 6 to RA26, honoring the 6-unit per acre density cap that was passed by the county in 1973. Here with the entire team, happy to answer any questions. Appreciate the staff report and the thoroughness that went into it. If there is any public comment, I'd ask for some time to respond to it. Thank you very much.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience want to speak for or against this item? Okay. Ma'am, we can start with you. And when you come up, if you could just state your name and address for the record.
Hello, my name is Pam Higgins. I live at 100 Ruby Street, Rockledge, Florida. Our home is right next to this property. This group came by about 6 months ago. You may remember using PUD. They wanted to try to use PUD, and it was all from you guys unanimously declined. And then they withdrew their application. So now they're wanting to rezone, as you know, to the business unit front part to make the whole thing one. But they want to remove the cap 6. And it says 2 to 6. But I'm wondering why we have to remove the cap 6 part of the designation. And I know it could be redundant, maybe that's the reason, but I think that if they come back again under future land use, which would be Res 15, not having that cap 6 in there, this is a very complicated piece of property. It's got all sorts of natural resource issues. And I think not having that cap 6 designated there would limit discussion about it if they came back later. So that's one thing. Two is, I guess, a question is, could we expect then with this change of zoning that they're going to come back with a plan that is under 88 units, or are they going to come back for future land use at 222 units? Those are my concerns.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Do I sit down?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sir, you said you wanted to speak? Yes. Okay. We got a gentleman back there.
Same topic. My name is Michael Gaish, address 3019 Vera, and I'm here to go over a topic that's in the first meeting when I submitted information about the environmental problems, okay? And to every developer, I know, I'm a developer, there's ways to get around what the density is, and also with buying what we would call for if you have wetlands on it, you can buy
Mitigation.
Mitigate that.
Mitigation credits.
Right. So I would say, I think you have in your package from me, and if you look at the next to the last paragraph, it states also what the flu policy is, and I can read from you that this coastal management element objective 7 demands that the county limits density within the coastal high hazards area to increase to use the density beyond that limit of 6 units per acre would violate that objective. Similarly, over half of the reference PUD to the now parcel is in a special flood zone area, zone AE coastal floodplain, and the number of units should not be increased, okay? I know, thanks for listening to my speech. I'm suffering from TMJ, so the words don't come out of my mouth like I would have them to do. And I don't see why that they can't tell you, the public, what testing they've done on the property. Or are they just rolling the dice and hoping to make it work?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else in the audience want to speak for, okay, or against this, sir? If you could come on up.
Good afternoon. My name is Rob Solito. I live at 6005 US Highway 1, property directly to the south of the property in question. I appreciate what happened in the past where their original application was voted down when they tried to drastically increase density. This zoning application, I believe, is consistent with what what is acceptable with a cap of 6. My understanding is that the RA26 is a cap of 6, doesn't need the additional 6 cap. And for that reason, I appreciate the developers understanding the need for this zoning cap in this region, and I do not oppose it. I appreciate that. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yes. I've got a question. Are you in Indian River Isles?
No, sir. I'm in the Laguna Vista condo right next door.
Okay. Is there anybody here from Indian River Isles?
Not that I'm aware of, not that I've seen.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Does anybody else want to speak for or against this item? Okay, sir, you can come on back up and I bring it back to the board. Do we have any questions for the applicant?
And I'd be happy to respond to those comments or allow staff to respond to those comments from the public, however you'd like to proceed.
All right, well, Mr. Hoppengarden has some questions, and then we'll give you some time to respond to the comments.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, in your application, it states that you have, that the property has 2 areas that are, one's a BU and the other is residential. Am I correct in that?
Correct.
Okay.
And maybe there's
Now-
a visual we can put up on the overhead that shows it.
Now, the commercial is 2.88 acres, correct? And the remaining residential is almost 12 acres.
Correct.
Okay.
If that's what you're reading from the application, then
Yeah,
yes.
that, I'm reading that from that, not from your graphic that's not showing up.
It's coming.
We need the graphic either placed on the document cam or possibly pulled up on the computer.
Okay, I have
You have
one
a
in my
hard copy,
files.
because you can use the overhead.
Okay, I can get it out of my files, but I figured we'd have one as part of the, it's in the staff report. Are we able to post the staff report? I'm happy to grab it out of my portfolio, but
Well, you can start by, the current,
generally speaking, yes, it is split. The front part of the property has the business zoning. Thank you. Smaller of the two. Bear with me here, I'll pull it out for you, but please go ahead with your next
well,
question.
I was questioning, number one, the current gives you, with the FAR of .75, gives you the availability of having 157 multifamily units, okay? You're proposing 88 units,
Affirmative.
okay? Now, are those going to be multifamily or single-family?
It is attached, single family.
Attached single-family. What does that mean?
This is from the, I'm sorry, I'm going back here just to answer some of the
Aren't you upside down?
questions. I am both my own land use attorney and audiovisual specialist.
Ah, okay.
That's from the county zoning map. BU1, and you see the line there. There's a similar map in the staff report.
Yeah.
My acreage is 14.6.
I think that's about right.
And then there's also a future land use split that is consistent as well.
Okay, are these going to be townhomes then? You said attached single-family. That's a new definition for me.
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Townhomes.
Townhomes.
Single-story or two-story?
To be determined based upon the zoning
You're answering my
allowance.
question.
Correct.
Please.
I'm answering your question, yes. To be determined based upon the county's requirements for height
Okay.
and other FAR and other requirements, so yes.
You get 30 feet. You also mentioned in your application the use of SB 102, the Live Local Act.
Correct.
Do you realize that you can only use that on the commercial part?
Correct, and that is actually from the staff report. It is a possibility that, yes, the commercial zoning could be used under the Live Local Act and could be utilized as a tool to maintain an even greater density.
Right, because they will give you up to 30 units per acre.
Correct.
And you've got almost 3 acres there.
Correct, and thank you for that, and that would be the development potential that this could be. However, as we said in our application, this goes to the speaker number one's comment as well, we do not desire to remove the cap. In fact, the application said we are making this change and in the renewed application to honor the cap. So we're very much living with the cap here.
Okay, so the cap would put you at, what, 71 and a half units on that almost 12 acres?
Page 1 of the staff report gives us the counts. 88, but that would be both properties.
Yeah, that's both properties. I'm talking about just the
probably-
residential here.
Correct. I'm looking at my engineering consultant on the team. 71?
That would be roughly on the 12 acres and then.
Right, I just did a math thing, and I came up with 71.5, based on 6 units per acre on the 12 acres.
Confirmed by our project engineer,
Yeah,
yes.
but he didn't give his name.
Landon Chair.
Okay, so you could do that. If you do the Live Local, you could have 158 units on this property,
Correct.
but you're restricting yourself to 88.
Affirmative.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to
So-
clear that up.
Thank
I
you,
just-
thank you. I appreciate that.
I just want to make sure, so the only place where you're using Live Local is on BU, is on the area?
We are not using Live Local. Live
You're not
Local's
gonna-
available to anyone who qualifies. We could, and we are not. We
Okay.
are applying to unify the zoning at the requested RA 2-6, maintaining the 6 dwelling units per acre cap from 1973. We are not using Live Local, but we could.
So
Very
are you
good.
asking to change the BU designation to a residential?
Correct, and I
So
was.
then you will not be eligible for Live Local.
Correct. I was tongue-in-cheek earlier when I said that the consistency of zoning was the reason we were here, because some of the other applicants and some of the other items had said something similar. So yes, we're here to unify the zoning so that the property may be developed in a uniform fashion,
Okay.
more consistent with the surrounding area, as outlined in the staff report, pages 2 and 3.
So then you'll just take the 6 units per acre on the total amount?
Correct, because the RA 26, correct. And there's a table on page 1 of the staff report. And that is consistent with both the CC and the Res 15 future land use that we have. So in theory, we could also develop more than that based upon the future land use consideration of the Res 15. That was an earlier discussion on an earlier day.
Okay. And that's my question. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board to the applicant?
Are you going to do a binding development plan?
I don't believe we are, no. It's a straight zoning. The, if I may, the other two speakers, I appreciated the speaker 3's statement of consistent with the cap and the surrounding area, having lived in the tower to the one property side. Thank you for that. The environmental issues noted by speaker number 2, I would direct everyone please to page 7 of the staff report. Okay. I can direct you to the header, but it has a very good explanation of our environmental requirements. It's analysis of administrative policy 7. Applicant is hereby notified of the development and impervious restrictions and the noted regulations of the county. So yes, we will, of course, develop the property in accordance with those county and all other government requirements on environmental items. I think those were the only comments that were mentioned.
Doris, you on board?
I haven't been appointed to the board to have an opinion.
I will say we've come a long way, and we're happy where it is, and we think it's compatible and consistent. And I think your staff and their staff report.
I'm just going to run my mouth a little bit here, You know, you guys have tried to wear us out. You haven't been here. Other attorneys have been here to try to work a plan here. And I guess I've listened to all those people that live south and north of here, and it really hadn't been fun. So unless you come up with a defined development plan, I'm not real excited about it. I just think we can do X, Y, and Z, and then we can move around and do an A, B, and C, and I'm not real sure. I'm not comfortable with it. That's what I'm going to. There's too many variables in this piece of stone. So I'm certainly not comfortable, but there's 14 others I'm sure that are extremely comfortable. So that's my only comment. Huh? Well, I don't think it's conducive to the area. I mean, it's just.
What, too many units?
Yeah, that's a ton of units. I mean,
I appreciate the comments. In my humble opinion, it's directly consistent with the 6 DU cap that was put in place in 1973. So we are very much consistent and compatible. It states as much in the staff report. I'd be happy to leave some of the remarks that I prepared that go through the 5 criteria for rezoning. I'd be happy to go through this.
no, you don't have to do it for me.
Okay.
Because,
I just want to make sure I'm doing everything I can here.
yeah, I understand.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir. Mr.
I
John.
have another question. We don't look at site plans here. We're
Correct.
zoning. But have you put a site plan together? Will everything fit? 88 units, he's right, and without going, 3 or 4 stories, because you do have height restrictions here.
A very good question. I do know that plans have been worked on in a conceptual basis. I'm not privy to that. I'm just here for the rezoning efforts today. And
You'll still have a lot more hoops to jump through.
thank you, and
Right.
very much appreciated. This is really just the first one.
Right.
Correct. And it's stated throughout the staff report, so yes.
Chairman,
We're fully
can I ask a
aware
question?
of what we are needing to do. We appreciate the comments and the sensitivity. I really believe that we've come a long way than where we were 9 months ago when we were before you the first time.
Did you do a traffic study yet?
38 units.
No.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
If you
Ms.
wanna
Anna, go
Spend
ahead.
some money, see how serious you are.
Don't spend a bunch of money before
Yeah.
they come in front of us. I
Mr.
doubt that.
Searl, the property that's developed to the south, that's traditional condos? Is that what that is? I'm just trying to look at it on an aerial. So it's standard 4 or 5 stories? Do we know what it is?
That's my understanding, and I want to say maybe the gentleman who spoke, or I know one of the other members that we've spoken to in the past was affiliated with it, but I believe it's fee title condos.
4 stories? So kind of going to Mr. Minibu, what you were saying, I look at it a little bit differently, that it's sort of stair-stepping down. You've got a higher density multifamily, a true multifamily use to the south with a more traditional townhome, single-family attached development or directly adjacent to those single-family homes, kind of creating that nice stair-stepped, I don't know, planning buffer, if you will. And I like that better than I would like, straight condos or something along those lines directly looking into those folks' homes.
Thank
So
you,
for-
and
yeah,
we
so-
agree. And I believe that the staff report does talk about how this is a transition area between the two. So we very much agree with that. Thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? I'm going to need a motion. Oh, hold on one second. Well, sir, we're just planning and zoning. I'm sorry. Yeah, that would all be done later.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve item H6.
Second.
Okay, on item H6, we got a motion by Anna, a second by Deb. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
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 So we've got Henry, Ruth,
Jared.
and Jarrett, 3 opposed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. All right, sir. Good luck with the county commissioners.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay. Item H7.
Item H7, the Mohan Family Trust dated January 25th, 2023, request a change of zoning classification from RU-1-11 to BU-1-A under application 24Z00063, located in District 1. Also, for the record, I'd like to note that this request went before Myra, and they recommended denial of the request. There were some concerns for Myra, the location of adequate parking for a future business use. The property being subsequently improved and then resold for a more intense use, resulting in increased traffic and congestion on Merritt Avenue, and insufficient information provided on the current proposed use.
Is the applicant here? Okay, ma'am, if you could come up and state your name and address for the record.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kamaldi Mohan, 5060 Saturday Place, Cocoa 32926.
And a little bit about what you're wanting to do, Ms.
At this property, originally purchased for my daughter and for her to start a spa business. Massage therapist, general spa. Mhm. That's my granddaughter. I'm on grandma duty right now. She's gonna get crybaby afterwards.
Is that the Gaynor estate?
I'm not sure. We purchased it after a
You-
year. No.
You purchased the house?
Mm-hmm.
And the
Yes.
property to the west as well?
No,
You just purchased the house?
yes.
Isn't that being used now for commercial or something?
No. It's right now I have it as residential.
Okay.
I think the original owner tried to rezone it to sell it as commercial use, but they're from South, so they didn't move forward with it. And when I got the property, I heard of it, but my realtor at that time didn't proceed in any further actions. And then moving forward with my daughter, that's why I'm here today. to
That
rezone.
property backs up to the lake, doesn't it?
No, it does not. It does? When you say back up,
Yes.
okay, yes, I think on the, okay. Yeah, I don't know too much of it, but I did see something to the survey.
Ma'am, if you could hold on 1 second with us here. Does anyone in the audience want to speak for or against this item? All right, seeing that, I bring it back to the board.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
do you have any knowledge that it was a business before?
No,
It was just a resident, because I drive by that
Yes.
property often, and I remember before it went up for sale, I thought it was an accounting office or something in there.
no, never.
It was not? Okay. But I am
That
familiar with the
property
property.
was-
You have a sign on there currently advertising commercial lease space?
At that time, yes. And then I removed it because I did the residential, because I didn't know the process or the length of how long the rezoning was going to take place.
Okay, so you've pulled down the sign, it's no longer for lease. Are you going to, or does your daughter anticipate subleasing?
No,
Okay. Okay, because that now makes it questionable, because the sign was up, looked like you were trying to rent it out.
At
and-
first-
And now you're talking about putting your daughter in there and not renting it out. I just want to keep, it's a house, but it has a large parking area.
yes. Well, originally, it was purchased for her, and things didn't work out. And then I did it back to residential.
Say that again, please?
So originally, when it was purchased for her, it was going to go into commercial zone for her to.
You were going to have it rezoned?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it didn't work out. It's emotional because it didn't work out. So I did it back residential. So when she's ready to come back, I'll have it ready again for her, but this time officially commercial.
Okay.
Yeah, I get teared up when it comes down to her.
All right. What's AKM? Gratitude for Prosperity.
AKM is their initials. It's my kid's name. They all, Alex, Anthony, Alina, and the middle initial, it stands for their father's name, and then my last name, Mohan.
Okay. And the Gratitude for Posterity?
Yes, yes.
Just the name of an LLC?
Yeah, the blessings of it, yes.
All right, thank you.
Does that have a Merritt Avenue address?
Yes.
So I have a question. So,
Yes.
It's been said that there's enough parking for people, but that was one of Myra's complaints, right? Location of adequate parking for future business use. Do you want to
Well,
speak to that?
I'm hoping to give this property back to my daughter,
Uh-huh.
and it's only gonna be her with her spa. whatever, she's going back to school now to get laser hair removal, something like that she's doing. But once this is done, I would not be leasing it back to anyone. It'll be more so for her. That was the original intentions of purchasing the property.
And how many parking spots are there?
Right now, you have the garage, and then you have 2 in front of the garage.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
So you're planning on putting it in a parking lot?
Eventually, when that time comes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
In the future, yeah.
Mr. John?
Yeah, you have that large area there to the west.
Yes.
That will accommodate large parking. Just down the street from you, there's a dog grooming
Yes, it is.
business, right?
Yes.
Thought so.
And
And on the corner,
is a
right
flag.
across from BJ's, there's that flag place, right?
Yes, and then on that same street, there's also another hairstylist spa business as well.
That's going to be competition, though, no?
They're doing different things.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't personally have a real problem with this, but because Myra had said all these, like unanimously said no, and it is their jurisdiction, it is their area. I feel like they know the area certainly better than I do. I live down in the South Shore, so I have to defer to people who live closer to it.
Mr. Chairman, I couldn't see any rationale behind Myra's objection here. I read their report. I didn't attend their meeting, but, their comments were location of adequate parking for future use. They've got plenty. Increased traffic, I don't see that. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Item H7, we got a motion by John, second by Erica. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Jared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That almost passed unanimously. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Good luck with the county commissioners.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Have a good one.
Item H8.
Item H8, Villas at River Palms LLC, represented by Edward Fleis, request a change in zoning classification from BU-2 to RU-1-7 under application 23Z00067, located in District 2.
Okay, sir, are you the applicant? If you could state your name and address for the record and a little bit about what you're wanting to do.
Okay, Ed Fleis, offices at 1275 South Patrick Drive in Satellite Beach. The property that we're talking is a 2.7, let me see, was a 2.7 acre parcel, which is presently zoned BU2. The property's north is residential, the property south is residential, RU 215 and RU19. We're requesting that it be rezoned to RU17. This permits 50-foot wide lots. The owner, the objective of the owner, and it's restricted to only 6 units per acre, and that's because it is in a coastal high hazard area, and also the property south. It restricts it to no more than 6 units per acre, which means that we could get 16 units out of it if we're going to do townhomes. But we decided to do single-family homes, and so we've limited it to 11. So it's on a parcel that has 11 platted lots. We'll also have, we'll replat it to 11 lots. And the objective here is going to be a very high-scale, upper-end single-family home development. It will be there will be a security gate with it, and walls on the north and south, and also along South River Drive. So I could go into a lot more detail, but I know you've read the report. Do you have any questions on it?
Well, let me take it out to the public real quick. I don't think we have. Do we have anyone in the audience wants to speak for or against this item? So seeing that.
Mr. Chair, before you continue.
Yes, Ms. Trina.
I'd like to amend the record of what I read into it. This item went before Myra as well, and the board recommended approval. However, they were asking for a BDP to stipulate that the dwelling units cannot be constructed as mobile homes or condominiums. It was a unanimous vote. Again, as long as the units are constructed as single-family homes. I also wanted to point out that in accordance with Objective 7 of the coastal residential densities in our future land use, which states that we should direct development outside of the coastal high hazard area, and so that can be a part of your determination for approval of this rezoning or recommendation for approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Let me, did they have anything negative at all?
They were concerned about mobile homes and condominiums. They just want single family there. And this particular zoning, the RU17, it doesn't permit mobile homes or condominiums. It's a single family zoning.
But they wanted a BDP on top of that as well, right?
Correct, to say no mobile homes
Right.
but again, the zoning doesn't permit that, so whatever you decide.
Times I'm fascinated. The most expensive mobile home park is just south of there. Yeah. And in Brevard County.
Yep.
And they're
Riverfront.
concerned about mobile homes?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes good sense.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I have a couple of questions. Does the developer know who the neighbor is across the street?
What's a commercial development across the street? Is that the one you're asking about?
Yeah, it's a gun store.
Pardon?
It's a gun store. Okay, I don't know if they have a range. Have any shooting in there?
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
they do.
Okay, you're going to put luxury homes across the street from a gun range? Just seems strange to me that
Well,
there's
yeah,
going to be a
but
lot of noise.
The cost of that property is extremely high. You know, it is very high when you're talking about buying riverfront property.
Right.
So, I mean, what are you going to use the property for? I mean, the
Well,
highest and
it's
best
zone
use would
BU,
be
right?
single-family
You
homes.
could do all kinds of industrial stuff on it because of the zoning.
Well,
Not
keep in
industrial,
mind-
but business.
No, keep in mind that north is RU 215. At one time was approved for a 24-unit condominium, which did not get
Yeah, it
built.
fell apart.
And it's still zoned RU 215.
Yeah,
And then south of that is a mobile home park,
right.
both residential in character. There hasn't been a lot of interest in doing a commercial type of development.
Okay. Is there water and sewer available?
Both are available. There's a force main right in the street. This will be done through, a pump station or whatever it is.
What
There's
about
a fairly high
sewage?
water table. And at one time, I think our high water table, or the 100-year or 50-year, was only about 3.5 feet. Now it's, with some of the flooding we've had over the last number of years, it became, it's much higher. There will be a lot of fill required on the site.
Okay, so you're going to raise the site elevation.
Oh, yes, it'll have to be raised.
And how is that going to affect the neighbors? You know, there's a new policy on Merritt Island. I think it's also throughout the county now. You have that new engineering study that has to be done in order to see what the impact would be on raising elevations. And I heard about that when I was up at North Merritt Island.
Yeah, that's true, and that is specific to North Merritt Island. Right now, we are working on another countywide flood study to really move to no adverse impact. So when they come in for developing, they're going to, especially given their low elevation, the coastal high hazard, they're going to have to demonstrate no adverse impacts on the neighbor. So if that requires additional stormwater, or however they get there through engineering, then that's what they'll have to do. And we continue to refine our floodplain data to make it more accurate engineers come in to design.
Okay. And because of my compadre here saying that it's a luxury mobile home park to the south, we wouldn't want them to get flooded out.
No, it doesn't matter who is next to them. We wouldn't want them to be flooded out.
It's just high price.
Extremely
Okay.
expensive.
All right, what about sewer? Are they on is it septic there, or is it sewer?
Are you talking about the mobile home park?
No, I'm talking about your land.
No, there is a force main, and there will be a grinder pump station or grinder pump stations installed
Okay.
for public sewer.
Okay.
Hi, Henry.
And you've got, what, 600 feet of frontage overall in that?
Our overall frontage is 588.3 feet.
600, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
One last question, because John's had the floor, but is that contiguous to the Grills Restaurant? Is their northernmost property line contiguous to the Grills property line?
That's on 520, isn't it?
Yeah, but that.
I think I understand your question. There are 5 lots north between here and the commercial property.
Right, okay. But their northern property line, what does it touch? You got a 7-Eleven there, and you've got Grills Restaurant.
Well, it would be the 7-Eleven, and then there's 5 lots, 250 feet.
Okay.
Not, 250 feet, and then this parcel starts.
Okay, so there's a gap in there.
Right now, there's a gap in there, yes. Now, I know that property is up for sale, but.
You're talking about this one here? Hey, this one.
That's good.
No, look. No, looking at me. This
Yeah,
one. Okay.
I'm trying to do it from memory.
Okay. So you're going to put 50 by 100 lots? 50 feet by 100?
No, there'll be at least 50 feet.
That's the RU-17.
No, there'll be at least 50 feet. What we have, what I'm doing, what we'll do is make the northern lot about 5 feet additional, and the southern lot additional.
As a buffer?
Yeah, just as a buffer, right. Plus, if you put a wall, you want to have a little bit more room to work with.
Okay. Now, these going to be single-family?
Yes,
Okay. Detached?
they're detached, right.
Detached, okay.
As I mentioned before, if we're going to do townhomes, we could have done 16 townhomes.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought the market is better for single-family homes.
And you're doing 11 lots, luxury? Okay.
Should we ask the paint color?
You can.
Okay, I need a motion.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion on item H8. Now, do we want to include a BDP?
I do not need it.
Okay, and then we got a second by Erica. I'm sorry, okay. All right. We got a motion by Debbie on H8. We got a second by Anna. All those in favor say aye.
A point of,
Aye.
I'm
Any-
sorry, point of order. So, but are you said no BDP,
Right.
right? But,
We don't
okay.
need it because it's
You don't think you
automatic
need it?
going to RU-17.
Okay,
We
all right,
can't
very
get in
good.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Oh, let's, do we want
No,
to?
Count the vote.
do we have a
He
nay?
didn't hear any nays.
Was there a nay on item H8? I did not hear one.
Want to do it again just in case?
Well, they said there's no nay, so
Okay.
everyone's good with item H8?
Yes.
Okay, that passed unanimously. All right, thank you, sir. I'm good with this if everyone else is. Meeting adjourned.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.